What's going on, everybody? In today's video we are going to be talking about basically a guide to low drop tunings and what strings to use, what type of guitar to use, the scale length, the proper string tension. We're going to be covering it all. So for those of you who don't know much about that, stick around. In this video I will be using my trusty beast of a guitar, the Ibanez GRG121 SP, in this awesome limited yellow-green sparkle finish. Chameleon finish is what they call it. And if you haven't seen my demo and first impressions of that guitar, it's right there, so go check that out. And I will be also comparing that with my Gibson Les Paul 2005 Standard. This is not a slash signature. This is not a greenie. Okay, this is the true version of that before those even became popular. And yes, there is no strings, because I will be putting 10 to 52s and doing a comparison with the Ibanez in both in low tunings to show you basically what I'm talking about. So let's get started. All right, first thing you want to do is figure out which type of guitar and the scale length you want to be using. Okay, so first off, a Gibson Les Paul or any Gibson guitar, the majority of Les Paul shapes have a scale length of 24 3/4, which is 24.75. And that is the distance between the nut and the bridge. So this is 24 3/4. If you want to get low tunings with a Gibson scale length, I would definitely recommend using a gauge heavier than what you would be using on a standard scale length. So for a Gibson style scale length guitar, and this is just personal preference, everything in this video is personal preference. This is what works the best in the studio and live. So that being said, with a 24 3/4 inch scale length guitar, Gibson scale, I would tune no lower than drop B using 12 to 62s, which are the Mammoth Slinkies. These are very good strings because the G string is wound. If you can see that, the G string is wound. It's not plain like on beefy Slinkies and not even Slinkies. I don't like the plain G string. So yeah, Gibson scale length, no lower than drop B with 12 to 62s will do you just fine. For a 25.5 inch scale length, which is most guitars, Fender, ESP, Jackson, Ibanez, pretty much the majority of guitars that don't make Gibson style guitar shapes are gonna have 25.5 inch scale length. So for this scale length, I would tune no lower than drop A because of the longer scale length, and it does make a difference. Because of the longer scale length, I'm gonna put the tuning lower but use the same string. So for drop A on this, you can get away with 12 to 62s, the Mammoth Slinkies. Or if you want a little bit more tension and the 12 to 62s are a little bit too loose for you, you can do a trick that I always do. You can get an 8-string Ernie Ball set, and all of these strings are going to be Ernie Ball because that's all I use. You can use the middle 6 strings on a 8-string set. And when you buy an 8-string set, you can use it on 6 strings, you can use it on a baritone, a 7-string. This is a very handy trick that I do. It is a little bit more expensive. These are 20 bucks in Canada. But the middle 6 is 13 to 64. And in drop A on a standard scale length, that will be plenty. And if you have a baritone guitar, which I do have one, but it's in the shop getting set up, so I can't show you it. Baritones typically live in the range of 27 inch scale length to 30 inch scale length. The baritone set from Ernie Ball, I don't have any right now because they're always sold out at my local music store, but they are a 72 and a 14, I believe. So 14 to 72. Or you can use the first 6 of an 8-string set here, which is 17 to 74, which is pretty burly. Or you can go even lower than that. You can find a set, you can make a custom set with like 17 to 80 or something like that on Ernie Ball's website, I'm pretty sure. A baritone or a baritone 7-string or an 8-string or a 9-string, you can pretty much get any tunings you want between drop A or B standard, which is standard 7-string and baritone tuning, to like drop E, double drop D, double drop C. Double drop C is, I would just use a drop pedal for that personally. All right, moving on. Let's talk about picking the right string set. So my Gibson Les Paul, and I know I'm holding an Ibanez here, but my Gibson Les Paul usually uses 10 to 52s, and I keep it between E standard, drop D, and E flat. If you like 10 to 52s, skinny top, heavy bottoms, that is what I would leave it. E standard, drop D, and E flat. So that's a wide range of 80s rock and metal right there. Those three tunings. Now, I don't have a set of beefy slinkies, I don't think. I'm trying to look. But that is 11 to 54s. And if you're using that string set, I wouldn't go lower than D standard or drop C sharp. So that is another wide range of probably death metal and 80s metal. A lot of Gojira is those tunings as well. Opeth. So that is a pretty good string gauge for standard scale length and Gibson scale length. With 11 to 54s, you can do even drop C with that. But with the Gibson scale length, it might be a little bit loose. So you might, for a Gibson, you might want to use 12 to 56s, the Not Even Slinky set. So speaking of the Not Even Slinky set, which I have a set because I like them, I would use these for drop C on a Gibson scale length, and I could even use them drop C on a regular scale length, 25 and a half, because it's just good. Oh, and I forgot to mention, on the beefy slinkies, sorry, got stuff in my eye, and the Not Even Slinkies here, if you notice, it's a 24P, which is a plain G string. I would go to your local music store and buy a wound G string of that gauge, because it's my personal preference, but I do not like plain G strings. They feel weird. It just throws me off. So that's why I absolutely love this set, the Mammoth Slinkies, because it is a wound G string. G string. But using 12 to 62s, that'll be good. Perfect, actually, for drop B or drop B flat, drop A sharp, whatever you want to call it, on a standard scale length. For a Gibson scale length, it's perfect for drop B. I would not use 12 to 62s for anything lower than drop B on a Gibson scale length. If you want to go lower, you can try to use 64 to 13, the middle 6 strings of the 8-string set, or even a baritone set. But that's going to take a lot of work. You're going to have to file the nut, probably file the tuners, and it's going to need a big setup. So in my opinion, it's just really not ideal to tune a Gibson really low, but that's just me. Now, speaking of the middle 6 of the 8-string set, which is what I use, you can definitely put that on a standard scale length and it'll be perfect for drop A. And I believe you also could put the baritone set on this and maybe even get drop G sharp. But don't quote me on that, I have never tried it. So maybe you should try that. And let me know how it is in the comments below. So now what we're gonna do is the fun part. I got 12 to 62s on this Ibanez, and then I'm gonna put 10 to 52s on this Gibson, and we'll do a little bit of a comparison to see if you can spot the tuning stability, the string tension, and just the overall tightness. So yeah, without further ado, let's get riffing. So that'll be it for this video today. I hope you learned something and found this somewhat useful. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to be updated with all of my videos. Hit the little bell button, notification button. all that YouTuber stuff, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.